Hey book lovers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenna and today I will be discussing my January wrap-up. So these are all of the books that I read in January of 2017 and I'm really pleased with myself. I ended up reading 8 books this month, which is crazy for me. Usually I average between 4 and 5, but for some reason I was able to fit in 8 this month and not all of them were super short. So let's just get started. Out of these 8 books that I read, 3 of them I definitely read off of my January TBR. So I had 5 books on my January TBR, read 3 of those. I did not end up reading 6 of Crows. I keep putting it off, guys. Like, please encourage me to read it. Like, if you read it and you love it, tell me I need to read it. I just, for some reason, keep putting it off. I now own both 6 of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I want to read them both very, very badly, but I keep putting it off. For some reason, I keep putting fantasy novels off right now, and it's really weird for me. I just don't know what's happening in my brain. So I will get to them, but I didn't end up reading 6 of Crows in January. And the other book that I did not end up reading was Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I, again, was really excited about reading this one. I ended up DNFing it. I got about 30 pages in, and I'm just going to get to those details later because I'm going to go in order of the books that I actually read. So the first book that I actually finished was Blood for Blood by Ryan Grodin. This was a sequel to Wolf by Wolf, and it is also the conclusion to the Wolf by Wolf duology. If you have not read this, please do. I know I haven't shut up about it since I started this channel, but you need to read it. If you like historical fiction, if you like action-packed, fun, exciting, scary, and even funny novels, just please go read it. The writing is fantastic. I think the story itself is completely unique and just so cool. I honestly want to buy both of those books, even though I've already read them because I love them that much. So anyway, Blood for Blood, I gave 5 stars. The next book that I read was Karl All by Stephanie Garber. I listened to this on audiobook that was very kindly sent to me by Macmillan Audio for review, and I do have a full-length video review on Karl All. If you'd like to check that out, I will link that down below. So I'm not going to share too much here. If you are interested in that, please go check out that video. But I did end up giving it 4.5 stars. The story was so cool. I thought the writing was really great and colorful. I liked the characters. The only reason why I did not give it a full 5 stars is because I thought the writing at times was a little bit too vague. I understand why she was being vague, because this whole idea of this mysterious Karl All performance, you want it to be vague and you want it to be magically mysterious. But there were so many other questions that I had at the end. Good questions, so I mean, it's kind of a good thing because you want your readers to want more, and there are going to be more books because this is the start of a series. But anyway, I didn't give it a full 5 stars because I was left wanting more at the end, in a good but also in a bad way. So the next book that I read was, and I actually have my copy here right now, it is The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. I was very excited to read this, and I did end up really liking it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it kept me on the edge of my seat. There were times when I literally said out loud, "What?" while reading this. It was creepy, it was fun, and it was just like a classic ghost story, and it really gave me Pet Sematary vibes, honestly, towards the end. If you are at all intrigued by this, definitely go check it out. It is a story that follows multiple perspectives throughout multiple generations, and probably my most favorite thing about this book, it was the fact that we went back and forth in time, and you kind of had to get used to that at first, but the way that Jennifer McMahon structured it timeline wise, I thought was genius, because she would leave one story off and you're just like, no, I want that story to be next, but then you flash forward, and I thought it was really structured very nicely, and I just really enjoyed it. Did I think it was perfect? No, I think a couple of things towards the end fit together a little bit too nicely, and there were also some other aspects where I was a little bit confused as to, really? How is that supposed to work? And a few other things I just wish she would have explained more, so that's why I gave it 4 stars. But I'm glad that I own it. Honestly, I think the cover's beautiful, and I would probably reread it around like maybe Halloween one year again, just because I did enjoy the story. And it did make me want to pick up another one of her books, The Night Sister, and you will see that in my upcoming January book haul. But yeah, if you're interested in this, definitely check it out. It's just a really good ghost story with like some interesting twists here and there. The next book that I ended up reading was Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the sequel to Illuminae, and it is the second book in the Illuminae files. I think the third book is coming out sometime this fall. I'm not really sure. I definitely loved Gemina. I did end up giving it 4 stars. I initially gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, but I went back and I decided to change it to 4 stars because I definitely didn't get the same wow factor as I got when I read Illuminae. I really liked Illuminae and I really liked Gemina, but Illuminae stands out for me because when I read it, it was very different for me. That was one of the first sci-fi books I had ever read, and this format of the book was really like just pleasantly surprising to me. I absolutely loved getting used to that format of like, it's just all text files and video surveillance files, instant message chats, and just all of this cool stuff. It was a lot to get used to, and that was part of the fact why I gave Illuminae 4 stars, or 5 stars, excuse me. With Gemina, I was already used to that, so it kind of brought my enjoyment level down just a teensy bit because it was already, like, it wasn't a surprise to me, if that makes sense. And I don't know if that's really fair or not, but I don't know, I was already used to it, so that wasn't like a big wow factor for me. I did end up really enjoying it still. It was so fun. I liked these new characters, probably even better than the first characters in Illuminae. We do follow 2 separate characters, but the storylines all kind of connect in a way. Definitely the ending was probably my favorite part because I felt like it kind of dragged on a little bit towards the middle, and it's like a 700, 800 page book. Is it that long? I can't remember. It's around 700 pages. It felt longer than that, and I don't think that's really a good thing in a book. So yeah, I still ended up really liking it. I'll probably honestly buy them yeah, whenever the series is completed, just because I think they're so cool. And if you like sci-fi and, you know, young adult sci-fi, I would definitely say go pick them up because they're destined to be like young adult sci-fi classics. I just think they're revolutionary and super cool, and I can't wait for the 3rd one to come out. And I did give that Gemina 4 stars. The next book that I read was Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, and this is a young adult graphic novel. I haven't read too many graphic novels, but I really, really liked this one. So we follow a young girl named Nimona who has these special powers, and you don't find them out right away, so I'm not going to tell you what they are, but she is adorable. I thought the story was so cute and fun, and I just really liked it. It's probably the best graphic novel I've ever read, but I haven't read very many, so that's not really saying much. I would definitely recommend it if you are trying to get into the graphic novel world, as I am. It's just a standalone book that's cute and fun, and it just talks about being yourself, and I thought the character of Nimona was my favorite part. She was just very empowering and funny, and I just thought it was really cute, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. The next book that I attempted to read was Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I don't count this officially in my wrap-up, but I still wanted to mention it. So I tried to read it, and I got about 30 to 40 pages in, and I just did not enjoy it very much. The writing did not grab me at all. I was very bored, and I mean, I kind of wanted to see where the story was going, because, I mean, you can't really get a sense only by reading 30 pages, but I was not impressed by the writing at all. Like, I just wasn't. As I was reading, there were some sentences that just made me go, really? I don't know. I was not impressed, but I really still want to read it. So I think maybe at some point in the future I'll pick it back up because I would really like to read it. Yeah, and it's getting a lot of buzz recently because Wind Witch, the second book, is coming out or just came out. and I don't know, I want to like it, guys, but I tried and it just did not grab me. And if a book doesn't grab me right away, like I'm not going to be interested. So if you have read Truth Witch, let me know what you thought of the beginning, like maybe like first 5 or 6 chapters. You know, I don't know, should I continue? Should I not waste my time? It's just that writing, I was not impressed. I know it was only the first like 30 pages, but I was just not impressed. So the next book that I actually did finish was A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. This is a YA contemporary following 2 teenage boys, and this book just got me. I mean, I'm pretty picky about my young adult contemporaries. I only will pick a young adult contemporary if I just have this feeling about it that it's really gonna hit me in the feels real deep, and this one definitely did. I don't want to give away too much, but it's very, very good. It was a quick read. YA contemporaries are usually quick reads for me, and oh, it was deep. It's about these 2 boys. And they used to be foster brothers, and they end up reconnecting in high school. They run into each other again, and we just find out about one of them. His name is Julian. We find out about his past, and everything that he's gone through has just been terribly painful, and it's just about them finding a friendship again, and it's about healing and grief and abuse, and it actually was a little bit graphic at times. There were a few scenes that I was just very uncomfortable reading, but it was just a very, very happy ending, and I just really liked it. So if you're in the mood for a really powerful young adult contemporary, definitely try A List of Cages. It's just about friendship, and I really, really enjoyed it. The next book that I read, I needed something a little bit light after A List of Cages, and I read The Miserable Mill by Lemony Snicket, and I didn't end up giving this a rating because I just don't know how to rate a series of unfortunate events. It's so different. When I was little, I read books 1 through 3, so I read The Bad Beginning, The Reptile Room, and The Wide Window, and that was as far as I got. And I never felt the urge to finish the series, even though I really liked it. But then the Netflix series came out recently, and it covered books 1 through 4. So I really wanted to read book 4 before I watched the last few episodes, and I'm glad that I did. I really like the television series, but yeah, the books are so funny. I read The Miserable Mill in like one sitting, and I just forgot how funny they were. They're so sarcastic, and the author's side notes are just hilarious, and I really would love to finish this series. What I'll do is I'll read the next few books before the next season comes out, just so I can cover all of the books that's going to be covered in season 2. So I just won't read all of them and then forget what happens before season 2 comes out. But anyway, I definitely enjoyed it. I'm not going to rate it just because, I don't know, it's more nostalgia for me, and how do you rate nostalgia, really? I do think it's definitely a well-crafted book, but I have heard a lot of people say, oh, like, there's a bunch of books towards the middle of the series that just feel very repetitive and unnecessarily dark. So, I don't know. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite, so I'm just gonna leave it blank for now as far as a rating goes. And then the last book that I read in the month of January was A World Without You by Beth Revis. I picked this one up because Molly over at Molly Reads was absolutely raving about this book. I wanted to read it. I want to say this came out last summer, or was it 2015? Oh gosh, I can't remember. But whenever it first came out, it got a lot of buzz, and I wanted to pick it up then, but it just kind of fell by the wayside, as a lot of YA contemporaries do for me. But then I saw that Molly did a full review on it on her channel, and she just was so touched by this book, and I was like, wow, it just made me want to pick it up. So it just came in at the library, and I got it, and it was very, very powerful. So it's about a teenage boy named Bo who is convinced that he has time-traveling powers, and that he is at this special school so he can learn to control these powers. And I don't want to say too much more than that, but this book deals with mental illness and the effects that it not only has on the person who's suffering from mental illness, but also the effects that it has on their family and their friendships and just all the relationships that surround them. It is just so powerful. I related a lot to Bo's younger sister Phoebe, just more than I can really say. I just had a lot of those same thoughts when I was 16, and the family dynamics I could definitely relate to, and it was very, very powerful. I ended up giving it 5 stars, and I definitely recommend it. Probably the best young adult contemporary I've ever read. And there is a little bit of magical realism in there, but there's a few twists here and there that just kind of, it's a little bit genre bending, if that makes sense. I just definitely recommend A World Without You if you're even remotely interested. So I'm gonna stop talking now. I read a lot of books this month. I'm really happy with it. Let me know the books that you read in January, and as I would love to know. And if you read any of the books that I mentioned, please let's talk about it in the comments. So I hope you guys are having a lovely day, and I will definitely see you soon in my next video. Bye!